Good day and welcome to another lecture on web application development, and today we are going to start exactly from where we stopped. In our last lecture we were able to complete this for mobile, and I made it known to you that it was not looking very beautiful when it comes to a medium or large scale device. So for that reason we need to design it for medium and large scale devices. So meaning that all the things we have done since are just for mobile, okay, and that's where responsiveness comes into play. So here we are going to be doing some media queries and change the look of some things that we think it should change when we get to medium and large devices. So where am I starting? First I want to start from the navigation back all the way from the top here. And if you check my navigation bar, let's extract back to the index.html. If you scroll up to check my navigation bar here, you will discover that I have an unordered list, and this unordered list, as set now, it has this class called hide mobile which make it to be invisible right now. But since I'm going to be silent it, I really need to just add maybe something here that I will be deleting back, so that I would be able to see it as I continue to design it. Okay, so hit on Ctrl S to save my index.html, and you would see that on my live server here it's going to refresh and you would see it popping up. Do you know why it's popping up? Because this class no longer have add mobile as it used to, because I added another one more here, which of course I will be deleting back. I did that just because I want to see what I want to style. So at this point I will head straight back to my style.css and begin the journey. So now I'm talking about the nav, which of course is the tag. Then it has a UL as one of its children, and that is what I want to style. So first I'm giving it a position of fixed, okay, and I'm giving it width of 60%. So that means it's not occupying the entire width of the screen. That's what it means, width of 60%. So let me hit on Ctrl S to save my job, and right now, so now you can see that we gave it position of fixed and give it width of 60%. So if I comment the width of 60%, at least you get a chance to see that it's somewhere here. Okay, so by giving it width of 60%, that means it does not occupy the entire width any longer, and you do not even see it again. No problem, let's head on. So the next property I want to give to it is top over here, and I'm giving it 0. It's Ctrl S to save your job. So I'm giving it right of 0 as well, so that it will be at the left hand side of the screen. Okay, I think you can see it now because I give it right of 0 over here. So I'm giving it text align, and I'm aligning to the left because right now it looks like it's aligned to the center. So hit on Ctrl S. Now you can see that it's aligned to the left now, the alignment of the LI. Okay, so I'm giving it a background color, and this time around I'm going to be using RGB, which stands for red, green, blue. Okay, for the red I'm giving it 36, so I want 36% of red, and for green I want 41, and for blue I want 44. So the combination of those three colors does give me this kind of color I'm going for. Okay, so that's another way to give it RGB color in case you are doing some design and you are giving RGB color. So I'm giving it a height of 100%. Okay, and that's for the UL. Do not forget we're styling the UL, and the Z index is 7. Okay, while padding top, giving it 3 here. I hit on Ctrl S to save my job. Now you get the opportunity to see what I have done. So the reason why I give it position fixed is because I want a situation where even if you scroll like this, it stay fixed. You observe that this one stay fixed, and the reason why I gave it width of 60% is because I do not want it to, I don't want the width to occupy the entire. Check what happened if you have a menu. Remember, we're designing a menu, and you have a menu that looks like this. Ctrl S to save. Now you do not have opportunity to see anything again, but given it 60%, you know, the menu will pop up. You'll be able to click on what you need to click. Okay, and once you click on it, it disappears, something like that. So that's what we are going for, and we gave it top and right, and that's why you can see of 0. That's why it's at the far right, left, right corner over here. And this is the background color we are giving to it, and the Z index of 7 means that it's going to be on top of our page. You see that it's layered on top, it's in the front. And padding top of 3 EM, and this is the padding top of 3 EM here. Okay, so that is that on styling the UL. So the next thing I want to style are the A inside LI, the anchor tag inside the LI, this anchor tag here. They have some basic design like underline and that kind of purple column. So please, let's do something on its ULI here. I'm working on some hierarchy. So first I'm giving it a color of white, and you can just make use of white straight away, or you use your default hash value FFF. And again, you want to give it a text decoration of none, so that the line, the underline on the home services goes away. So I'm giving it none, and if you hit on Ctrl S, you now have white and there is no text decoration any longer. Then we have the display block. You already know what the display block means, so that each and every one of those occupy the entire width. Ctrl S. Okay, and we have the width of 100%. So width of 100%, so they will be as long as the entire 60%. Then we have the background color, and just like before, I'm using the RGB, the background color RGB. So red, green, blue. So I want 65 of red, comma, I want 73 of green, and I want 78 of blue. So this gives me that kind of color. That's for my background color for the LI. And lastly, now I'm giving it padding, and the padding I'm giving to it now is 1 EM space 2 EM. That's 1 EM for top and bottom, 2 EM for left and right. It's on Ctrl S, then you can see. So you can see my background color does comes into play, and the positioning. So that's for the A's that are there. Okay, so and lastly, we want to add some style to the hover selector. Like if I put my mouse there, maybe you want some colors to start changing, so you really need to do something like this. You had AI working on some hierarchy, and then a selector called hover. So what does hover means? Like if you hover on it, when you place your mouse pointer on it, then any style you put there will be activated. So that is hover. And under hover, I just want to change the background color when you hover over an element or any of the haze. And once again, I'm using the RGB, and I want sorry, so red, I want 6573. Okay, I think I made a little bit of mistakes here. This is the number I should have gone for. To see, when you hover an element, you need a color, but right now the background color should be, because I really want it to be the same with what I have designed already. And for the 52, 59, 63, 52, 59, 63. So that's the background color, and I'm going to hit on Ctrl S to save my work. You can see the background color is it's not as thick as, now look at it. So when you hover, you can see the background color does change. So that's the meaning of the hover selector that I applied here. Okay, so what I am currently doing, if you may ask now, is remember somebody will click when you are on the mobile view, because I'm still doing this for mobile. Somebody will click here, so you want this to come out. So this that will come out needs to be designed, and that's what I am currently doing now. I'm designing what will come out. Okay, so you can see that web design is not just a task for people who doesn't want to work. So I'm now moving on further. I want to style this exit button here. Now I want to style it. So remember, if you go to this X over here in my HTML that I call the exit button, it has exit, does it even have, okay, it has a class of exit-btn. That's what I want to style. Dot exit-btn, that's the exit button. So what do you think? Number one, the merging button, I need to add some. So for the merging button, I want it 1 em, and if you check now, the home will a bit come down. Okay, you can see when I saved that it has come down. That's the merging button. Then the merging top, then I want minus 1.3 em, so I believe it will go up a little. You can see it has gone up a little because of the negative sign. Test the line right, so test the line right, and that means I want this thing to go to the right, the X button, and you can see it has gone to the right. Okay, and lastly, padding. And I'm giving it a padding of 0 top and bottom, then 1.4 em left and right. Ctrl S to save my job, and you can see it now have that over here. Okay, it's not bad. So, and that's for the btn button. Okay, it all depends on you. If you like, you may so give it a bg color, and let me put white and hit on Ctrl S to save my job. And remember, it's an image. This is an image, so if you need to affect the color, then you might need to change the image itself to color white. Okay, so just to show you that wouldn't play any role. So dot exit button once again. Now we have the img. Remember, the dot exit button is the hi, so the img is the picture in there, and I want the width of the picture in there to be 30 pixels on all devices, so I will therefore use pixel. Okay, then the background color on the image itself is going to be white, so we can just spit out white. And once again, you can see that the white does play no role, but the width plays some role. Okay, and lastly, we have cursor. Then you can give it all different type of cursor, but I will prefer pointer. So when you place your this on X, it will change to a pointer, something like that. Okay, and by default, I think pointer is what is there. Let's hit on Ctrl question mark. Okay, let's see progress and hit on Ctrl S to see. You see, do you see that shows that there is progress, but we do not need that. So what we need is pointer. Ctrl S, so it's changed to a pointer. Now that's for the exit button. So now what do? We want a situation where we need to start doing some media query at this point in time, and the media query is a way of querying our browser to know the screen size of the browser. and in essence we know where, and we know the device width that is running our website. For that reason, I will quickly introduce you to the media query, and you do it by using this media only screen. Then you can say, and open your parentheses and type main width, and the main width here is 650 pixel. So then you want to open your curly braces. So what does this mean to you? It means that any settings that I put here will only be applicable for the devices that is 650 pixel and above. Okay, and in my case, you can consider that 650 pixel to be like a small device. Okay, so now check what happened over here. You can see that I'm done with this what is it called, with this my menu. So for now, let's go back here. I want to hide it, so I'm giving it back hide mode mobile and hit on Ctrl S to save my job. You can see it's gone. So I want to face something else entirely, and over here I have dot server. Here is a class, and check what is going on. I have a width over here and I'm giving it 50%. Just want to show you something. I will be commenting this, and I will hit remember, server is talking about this image here, the banner. And if you hit on Ctrl S to save my work, now you can see that when I'm on smaller devices, this rule does not take effect. But check what happens if I'm on bigger devices. The rule starts taking effect. You can see 50%. So in essence, this rule called width of 50% will only be applicable if you are on devices that has above 650 pixel as the width. But as it stands, this does not have above 650 pixel, but you see now it has more than 650 pixel. So but let's say that this is not there, and you hit on Ctrl S to save. You see now. So in essence, when you put some style here, it will be applicable only for the devices that is more than 650 pixel or equals to. Okay, but for now I'm not really interested in changing the width of the picture, so I'm going to comment the whole of those. Okay, because I really want the picture to stay that way. But there's something else I will want to point out to you, and that is, okay, let me change this back to my smaller device. Okay, if you take a very good look, I have this web hosting for modern RL here. So I want to come over here and do some changes on the heading1 tag. So the font size for the heading1 tag over here is going to be 3em, and the margin is 0. Ctrl S to save your job. Now when you get to, remember, let's look at heading 1 initially. Remember, everything we have done here is for mobile. So if you check on heading 1, it has okay, it has normal behavior of heading 1. It will be thick and big, but by the time you are on bigger devices that is above or equals to 650 pixel, the font size of the heading 1 would then change. Okay, and let's take a look at the web hosting, because if you extract here and search for the web hosting, you would discover that web hosting is heading 1. Okay, but what we have done on heading 1 here, you would not see it until your screen is equals to 650 pixel in width or more. And check it out. Just take a very good look at the web hosting. Now you can see that the web hosting is now, the font size is now 3 em. But when you are on, that's because you are on medium device now. But when you are on small device, it changed back to the normal behavior of Eden 1. Okay, so what does this mean to you? I'm trying to write code that will respond to the width of your browser, so that on a smaller device we get small item, and on a bigger device we get big items. Okay, then I also have another class called subhead. Initially, if you check subhead on a smaller devices, remember everything I have done above at the top here is for mobile. So this is the settings for mobile, 1.1 em for font size. That's for subhead. But right now I will be changing some few things about subhead. So on a medium devices, so to say, or let's say devices that is above, or like a tablet that is equal or above to 650 pixel, I then want the font size to be 1.4 em, and hit on merging button to be 5%, and hit on Ctrl S to save my job. Okay, so you wouldn't observe any difference anyway, but remember this Go serverless is subhead. It has a class of subhead, but by the time you go to, do you see what happened? That the Go serverless does change a bit. If you do not pay a very close attention, you wouldn't quickly observe the differences. That's because 1.4 em is already close to the subhead that we have there, which initially have 1.1, so it's just a difference of 0.3, so you might not quickly observe the differences. Okay, then what other thing do I want to put in? Now let us talk about our blue container, because if you observe what I'm doing, I already have this good look for my mobile. So for those one that is a bit more than mobile, which is this size, that's what I am designing it for now. So I may want to increase the sizes of my content a little, because I'm now in this kind of size. Okay, so how do I want this blue container to looks like in this kind of viewports? Well, that is where I will now restyle blue container. So what would change in the blue container? I think if you observe very well, the merging needs to be 0, and let us see what we have. So merging 0, and I will hit Ctrl S to save. Just you observe the difference. Ctrl S. Okay, not much of a big difference. But what about the width of the picture here? Initially, the width of this picture, what is their size? If you go to the blue container, IMG is 14%, which is more enough for mobile. But this one is now a bit bigger than that mobile, and we need to step it up a little. And that's the reason why you would see me already clearing the blue container IMG. Then talking about the width now, it won't no longer be 14%, because I now have a little bit of room to cater for that size, that increment. So I'm now putting 25% here. And if you hit on your Ctrl S to save your job, you see now that these pictures are stepped up a little. Okay, I think you can see. So let's cater for this. Okay, so that's how you begins to do your responsiveness. Now moving on further, what else would I like to change? Then the UL, which are what we have in here. Remember, they are under UL. All of these are different list items. So back to blue container, then UL I want to style, and at this point in time I am making the UL to have a display of flex. And remember, if the UL have a display of flex, what does that mean to you? It means that the li becomes the children, and as such they occupy the same horizontal space. And if you see now, they occupy the same horizontal space, but just by making the UL to be flex. I think we did a whole lot of stuff on flex, so I wouldn't go into that again. Now if you are okay with this kind of look, That's good, but let us fine tune it a bit further. And what do you think we should do? Well, you want to cater for this space. This space looks a bit too much for my liking, and that's the reason why I'm going to put margin top here and reduce it with a negative sign. Then you can play with some number till you get satisfied. Let's say -1. Okay, it has reduced a little bit, but if you are not still satisfied, you can just reduce it. Then align item, I am putting it to the center, and I will hit Ctrl S to save my job. Okay, good. So what other thing would I like to style? Now that I have talked about the UL, now let us talk about the LI, which are the item inside the UL, and I will just be giving it a margin of a margin bottom of 0, so that I wouldn't have this extra space here. I think that's just the only thing. So giving it margin bottom of 0. Do not forget the closing curly braces, and you can see it now. So, but do not forget that I need to put LI here. That's why you cannot see any difference. So I'm putting LI here and hit on Ctrl S. Now you can see that it's reduced a bit. Okay, but if you want it more, you can just add negative sign to the 0 and put some 1 or 2. Then the blue container, once again, I will be styling the paragraph now. So UL, LI, and P. So talking about the paragraph in there. And for the paragraph, giving it a padding, because if you observe, they are joining together. So I'm introducing some padding, and I am giving it 0.8 EM all round, both top, bottom, left and right EM, and you want to hit on Ctrl S to save. Now you can see that we have some padding going on there. Not bad. So then what? Now we have the gray container. I am done with the blue container. So here we have the gray container. And for the gray container, you want to specify that. Remember, what we have done already on the gray container is for mobile. So now, right now, we are graduating to a device that is a little bit more than just an ordinary mobile screen, and that's 650 and pixel and above. So I would want these two LI to stand next to each other horizontally, and for that reason I need to change the gray container UL to its display to flex. I hit on Ctrl S to save. Now you can see that I am now utilizing the space at my disposal, just because I'm not on mobile any longer. Okay, then my nav UL, remember I have UL inside navigation, and right now you may not be seeing it, but let me quickly show you. If I head straight back to my navigation bar here, can you see the UL? That's for the nav. It's under nav. I want to make it visible, so I'm going to add one here like before. Hit on Ctrl S to save my job. You see, on a mobile devices it was set to 60%, but the 60% on this kind of device now looks too much, and that's the reason why I want to change the width to 40%, 40 pixel. I want to say sorry please, 40%, so that it will be relative to the screen size. Ctrl S to save. So you will see now that is a bit small compared to 60% of a mobile view, and that is going to be all for. So that means I am done with the way I want everything to look on a device that is equals to or greater than 650 pixel, and these are all the code I have in here. So if you observe very well, you will discover that I just redo what I have done for mobile and tweak the settings to my liking a little bit, And you will ask yourself, are you really comfortable with this look on 650 pixel device? If yes, good. If no, continue to twist. So what else do I want to do? Some other people will be running your website, but not on this device, but a device that is even more bigger than this. And that's the reason why I will graduate to a device that have a that is bigger than 650 pixel we used the other time. So once again, I'm going with another one more query. Okay, do not forget that this curly braces here marks the end of the first query, so you're not expected to create another media query inside the already created media query. Otherwise you have some unwanted results. So media only screen, then, and you remember, then main. It's not a crime for you to take this code when you want to design your own. Every developer checks other people's source code, they learn from it, they utilize it, they copy it. It's all okay. It's not something bad. In most cases, you would not be typing everything off and all the time. So in development, it's not an issue. It's not like your exam where you must not check on other people's work. No, you can even copy it. Okay, because the results, the end justify the means. So the result is so important to you. So main width, please, I made a code, the end justify the means, is in relation to what we are doing now. Okay, in most cases the means justify the ends. So please, okay, so moving on further, I have the mean width 875 pixel. So what does this mean to you? It means that I need to ask myself the question, on the devices that is equals to 875 pixel big and above, how would I want my website to look like? So that means you want to begin to do some other twisting again on a device that is larger than what you are currently seeing now. Okay, and then if you remember, when we're going to start from this sub 8, because this sub 8 here, I need to increase the size, I mean the margin bottom, because okay, so if you scroll up, subhead margin bottom here is 5%. Okay, so when you now have devices that is about 875 pixel long, wide, what would you like to do to the margin here? Because it will of course still be 5%, which will be big. So for that reason, you want to say dot subhead, then you want to say margin, let's use margin bottom. Then you want to reduce it all the way from 5% to 3%, and hit on Ctrl S to save your job. Because look at what happened if you increase the width. You can see that it's getting wide over here. The margin is getting increasing. So you reducing it from 5% to 3%, and look at it. That's exactly what you want. You don't want something to, so that's how you contain it. Then now let's talk about the blue container. If you check on the blue container here, the first thing you will discover is the UL over here. So let's talk about the blue container. So dot blue container are these viewports. So I'm talking about the UL over there, and I'm giving it margin. So I'm giving it 0 for top and bottom, sorry, for top, 0 for left, and for right 4%, and sorry, for bottom I wanted to say 4%. And let us hit on Ctrl S to save your job. Do you observe here? Okay, so or let's make it extremely big. Now look at it. This is on a very wide screen, which of course we are not really covering now. So then now let's talk about the .gray container. We're talking about the UL over there too, and we're giving it margin. That's 4% at the top. Then 0 left and 0 bottom, and hit on Ctrl S to save your job. So we did not do anything much on 875 pixel, which you may want to title as the medium device. Okay, so and that is going to be all for the medium device, because everything looks a bit okay. Now let us go and target very large device like our desktop or laptop. So once again, media query, and this is going to be the final one. Media only screen, and so you want to introduce main dash width, and over here you want to put 1024 pixel, so that's a large device. Then so you ask yourself, what are the changes you would be interested in? Okay, first is our CTA here. Let's go on large screen and let's take a very good look. Everything is still looking good, but do you really like this button like this? No, I do not. So you want to make it to be small, and that button, if you remember, it has a class of CTA. Okay, or should I show you? If you come back here and scroll down to that button, get started, it has a class of CTA. So I'm going to restyle it when we are in 1024 pixel and above. So .cta, I'm restyling it, and we need to make the width to be half of what it was before. So making it to be half, and hit on Ctrl S to save my job. This is not a large device, so you wouldn't observe the difference, but let's go to large device. Now you can see that it does not, on a large device, is 50%. Okay, and you started to see the essence to the media query, right? So what other thing you begin to ask yourself, what other thing would you like to do? Maybe your container, because in most cases we really make use of container a lot. So it depends on you. On a larger devices, how would you want your container to be? As for me, nothing so different. So on a larger device, I want this to disappear and my menus to come. Okay, and if you remember very well, let's go back to our index.html and check our menu under navigation. You will remember that we gave it two classes, hide mobile, and that's working presently. The hide mobile makes all this to go away. But what about show desktop? We want the show desktop to show all of this. So for that reason, I'm going to create a class here which we do not have before, and that class is going to be show desktop. Then we will style it, and the show desktop will now have display to be equals to block, unlike the hide mobile that made the display to be equals to none. And we also want to introduce some margin, and 0 for the top, auto at the left, then 4% at the bottom, and auto at the right. Okay, so hit on Ctrl S to save your job, and let's go to a large screen. Then oops, you can see that it works anyway. It is showing it, only that we would not want it to be like this. but when you go to small devices, can you see that it disappear? But when you go to show desktop, it does show it for you. Although when it showed it for us, we wouldn't want it to be like a menu. We wouldn't want it to be like a side menu, but rather like something like this. Sorry, I need to go back. So we want it to be something like this, but if you check our home, it was not like that. So that was just the only difference. But as regarding our show desktop, it really did make it appear. The show the display block, it does work as expected, only that we wouldn't want the side menu. Okay, and that of course we are going to undo. So continuing on the journey, I would now say dot hide mobile. So I want to restyle this one, and the display of course is going to be none. Did you know why? Because I'm not on a mobile device, so the display is set to none. And if you hit on Ctrl S to save your job, you get to hide devices. Do you see that the display equals to none is still working? We do no longer get that menu because our hide mobile is also working, but our show desktop tool is working by setting the display. So it now look as if both of them contradict one another. No problem, no cause for alarm. Okay, let's just write down. So now at this point, I want to add a little bit of style here, which I'm going to call nav ul. So remember, the ul contain a lot of li home services, blah blah blah, but also now position, you can see now that then inherits. So that means it's inheriting the current position where it was. Okay, then width sets to auto, and background color sets to none. That means the color that was there is what I want to keep using. Then height is also set to auto, so no default size. And padding top, okay, padding top set to 0, and you can hit on Ctrl S to save your job. So nothing so important, nothing so special. We still get the same thing if you observe. Okay, but not until I head straight here and create nav ul once again li. That means I now want to talk to those items. So those items, remember my first lecture in HTML, I do normally make use of these floats, then left. Do you remember what it does? So that means each and every li in the ul will be floated to the left of one another. That's what it means. Okay, and right now you can hit Ctrl S to save your job, and you head straight back to your mobile. Then you can be rest assured that it is really lining up left to one another, only that you are not getting that chance to see it as set now, but there is no problem. Okay, so moving on further, I now have the li. So I want to start nav ullia. So the color, I'm giving the color for each and every li home about us to be black. Okay, and the background color to be inherit. So that means they will also have that kind of white color as the background color that was inherited. Padding to be 1 em for the top and bottom, 2 em for the left and right, so that there will be space for each and every one of those elements to breathe in. And you can hit on Ctrl S to save your job. Then if you head straight back in, you won't be seeing it. So but what would you do if you really want to see it? Let me show you something. Right now it has this hide mobile. Let's say you put another e to make the hide mobile not part, and you save your work. You can see that it comes in, and if you do this, can you see that at least it's here, because we are not getting that side menu again because we restyled it. Okay, we restyled it to our liking. But the reason why you are not getting to see this before is because we have the hide mobile, and the hide mobile that we have there was the one that was setting the display of this to none, and for that reason you couldn't get it. So we need to also on so let's just ride on our journey. We are almost there. So back to my CSS, so that you'll be getting the chance to see what we are designing. Okay, back to my CSS. Now I want to talk about the over elements. Okay, so nav, once again, ul, that is a descendant of nav, li, that is also a descendant of ul, hey, that is a descendant of li, and over, when somebody places a mouse on each and every one of those elements, then what should be changing? The background color. And over here I'm setting the background color to be inherit, and you can hit on Ctrl S to save your job. Remember, your live server automatically replace it, and you can see now that it's not showing that kind of things again. You can change the background color if you want the color to be changing, but right now I make it to be inherit, and it's inherit that which was there before, making it to be none. Okay, so now we have the dot scroll, because if you remembered very well, if you check on the original design that we are trying to follow over here, there is something missing here, but it's because we're on a medium device. But if you go on a large device, you would see it, and you can see this we call scroll. So we make it to be on a large device so that they will know they need to scroll down. Okay, so that's what I want to do right now. So if you head straight to my HTML, search for scroll, you will see where I use the arrow down. This is the arrow down. And what is the class? It has a class of did you see it has a class of hide mobile, show desktop, and that's why you are not really seeing it. Okay, but let's look at scroll. Okay, it also have a class of scroll, as you can see here, and so it has 3 classes altogether. So I'm going to be making use of that scroll right now to apply some things to it inside my 1024 pixel width. So scroll over here, and I'm giving it a width of what? Of 50 pixel, so it will be that big on a large screen. And then there's something important I will be showing you here, which of course has to do with the animation that you see the other time, the way the arrow was jumping up and down. Okay, so that I'm going to be showing you as well. But before then, I want you to observe something. This hide mobile here on my large screen, I'm going to comment it out. Then I will make sure that the hide mobile, which I initially add 1E to it just because I want to disable it, will make it to be normal back. So hit on Ctrl S to save my job. So I now have the hide mobile. Apply, you can see it's gone. But if you straight back here, you would see that if you go to a large screen, you would see that we can't find our menu back. Okay, no cause for alarm. But if you straight to our CSS, the hide mobile is no longer part of the 1024 pixel. So that means it will only show the desktop, and it will not have the hide mobile would not be there because it has been. So hit on Ctrl S to save your job. You can see so by the time we go to large screen, the show desktop will now show the menu that was originally hidden by hide mobile when we are in small view. So now that I'm in large view, you can at least get to see it. Okay, so you can get to see it, and at the same time, these one too that have both hide mobile and show desktop, you can now see it because the desktop make the show desktop to be displayed to be blocked. I don't know if I really tried explaining that. Okay, so I think you get the idea. So, but maybe I should try and come up on that again. This is what I have done. I have hide mobile, and let me show you here. On my CSS, display is set to none. So any class that have this hide mobile will naturally disappear. So if you now extract to my HTML, you would see that all of this menu will naturally disappear because they have hide mobile. Okay, and the show desktop was not there. You won't find show desktop here. Let's search for it. You only find show desktop in one place, and that is when the screen is higher or equals to 1024. Good for us. Once the screen is at this size, the show desktop will now unhide display equals to block. It will unhide what the hide mobile has hidden before, and that's the reason why when you will see this show desktop in action when I'm in the large view, and then it will unhide what hide mobile has hidden before. So I think that's the idea. So I haven't said that. Now let's write on. So now let's go to the animation parts. Okay, anything you want to animate in CSS, I will be giving you some clip, then maybe give you some material on how to do some animations on your own. But here I'm going to be explaining the basics for you, but you can do a whole lot of beautiful animations. Okay, so the kind of animation we are going for at this point in time is this. The way it was jumping up and jumping down continuously without anybody's interference. That's what we want to do, and it's not so difficult. So anything you want to animate, you must give it this animation. So there is this animation property in CSS, and let me type it again, animation. You can see. So over here I want to animate this any element that have a class of scroll, and in my case the arrow down does have it. Look at it over here. If you search for scroll, you will see that this image img tag has a class of scroll here, and that's the reason why I want to animate it, so I'm using that name. So what will now be inside animation? The first thing is we are giving our animation a name. You are free to use any name here. So file does not have a special character like space and a question mark, so I'm giving my own animation a name called move, because that's what it will be doing. Then how long will it take to move? I think 1 second should be okay. Should it ever stop, or it should continue indefinitely? I think it should continue indefinitely, and for that reason I'm going to use infinite over here. Okay, then alternate means it should the continuation indefinitely. Once it's finished, it rewind back, and once it's rewind back, it forward, something like that. So that's what the alternate. So the name of the animation is moves. Moving for 1 second, it's infinite and it's alternate. But do you know that this move is an animation, is a name that we spell out ourselves, but we must build the way that moves will work. Okay, so for that reason you will be creating something like this, making use of at keyframe. So that means I want to set keyframes for my animation, keyframes. Then I will put move here. That means there is an animation called move, and I want to describe the behavior of that movement. Okay, that's what I am putting down here. So I will be using these two from where is it moving and to where is it going. So I will also be giving it to, something like that. So inside from, applying a CSS property called transform, and I will now be giving it transform. There are three types of transformation. We have translate, we have rotate, and we have translate. Yes, that's the movement. Rotate, that's something like this. And what is the third one? The third one is skew, something like that. And let us ask CSS by hitting control plus space bar. So you can see we have skew, we have scale, we have translate, and we have rotate. But what we are using now is translate. We want to start moving. But if you use translate like this, that means you'll be supplying the XYZ coordinates of the starting point. But I will be using translate Y. That means I will be supplying only the Y coordinates. And I will put in 0 pixel here. So that means I'm starting from 0 pixel in Y. Okay, then I will now be moving to transform once again. Then I'm now rotating, I'm translating. So animation in CSS is another wide topic on its own. So translate Y, do not forget. So I'm now moving down, positive, down, negative, up. So I'm moving 20 pixel down. Okay, that is, so all the way from 0 pixel down to 20 pixel. So that is this is how to describe your animation, and this is how to give your describe animation to a class. You understand? And we are making use of at keyframes. Okay, you may also want to make use of the web kits in case of some browsers that do not support this at keyframes. That's why you see many projects making use of web kits animations and code, something like that, which of course is also working the way I'm describing now. Okay, so having said that, I will hit on Ctrl S to save my work. Okay, now I will try to go to a large desktop where I will see the scroll down image. Now look at it. Did you see now that it's initially is from 0 and it's moving down, but because I set it to infinite and also alternate, that's why you can see that it's alternating, and you will discover it does not appear here because the show desktop is only applicable in a desktop environment. Hope you understand my points. So I'm going to hit on Ctrl S to save my job once again. So that is going to be, and if you look at our work now, it's like we are almost done. So the last thing that we need to do now is to set the last media query, which is for extra large device. So I'm done with this for a large device, and now here is another media query for you. Media, and you want to say only screen. Then you want to put your main dash width, so 1600, so 1600 pixel. That's for the very large screen. Then we put our settings here. So once again, I'm going to hit on Ctrl S to save my job, and I'm going to hit on Ctrl S to save my job over here. So please meet me in my next lecture to finally put the end to our long journey. Thank you so much for attending this lecture.